Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sujit and you're watching MALLU vlogs, where you get authentic lifestyle videos. So 2 weeks ago I had put a video explaining my experiences signing off from Singapore. I hope that video was helpful at least for few. I've been seeing different kinds of questions asked in different social media regarding what the quarantine is like and what they can expect once they are back in the country and things like that. So I thought it would be a good idea to share my experience of hotel quarantine and what you can expect at the hotel also once you're back. So I'm basically from Kerala, so I am right now at my home. It's been more than a week since I came home, but I'm under home quarantine now. So I will explain you my experience. This might also be helpful for anybody who are returning to the country regardless of what profession they are doing. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So as I mentioned earlier, I have made some points which I believe is worth mentioning. So I will explain you different step-by-step procedure starting from the airport once you land in India. I have explained on my previous video regarding procedures if you're signing off from Singapore, especially or a shipping. If you want to watch that video, the link is given in the description below. So basically at the airport there are various zones according to the states. Arogya Setu app is one important thing you should keep in mind. Put all the information in that and that will show your status. So after you put all the information on the Arogya Setu app, risk factor shown is in different color coding. So if you are traveling outside India for past 28 days in the specified country, you might be in the moderate risk area, which we were obviously. You're going to go to all these various zones as I mentioned. You are producing the paper there and they'll give you a list of hotels where you can opt for quarantine. There are different set of hotels which are providing quarantine, especially in Mumbai. So I landed in Mumbai. The same thing is been happening in Delhi. So these are the airports. Mostly all these chartered flights and repatriation flights are coming. If you are somewhere coming to the Delhi or Mumbai, the procedure is almost the same. Once you're at the airport in these centers, they will give you a list of hotels from which you can select the quarantine facility. There are more than 20 hotels listed in that list with the contact numbers. All you have to do is just call them and book the room. One thing is worth mentioning is that if you have some urgency, then they will only allow you to travel via road, and you have to get the e-pass from the corresponding state which you belong, and you can travel by road. Traveling by road is not a good idea at this point of time because they're locked down in different part of the area. Day by day they are changing each rules. I will suggest you to do quarantine in Mumbai and then opt for a domestic flight. So you have to undergo this mandatory quarantine in order to travel through a domestic flight. There was so much of delay for us to get to the hotel. The hotel which I was opted for was the Hyatt Regency. Mostly the government buses will take you to the hotel and they charge us around 100 rupees. Once you reach there, they will disinfect all your luggages and you have to show them the Arogya Setu app. And I will explain to you now what you can expect at the hotel. As I mentioned, I opted for this Hyatt Regency hotel, and which was very close to the airport, and that was the reason I opted for that. There was a lot of waiting time at the reception. There was less number of staff. One important thing to notice is that you have to pay the full amount upfront at the check-in time to get the room. If you don't have cash, you can use either a debit card or a credit card for the mode of payment. So at the hotel, you are not allowed to come out of the room. You're not allowed to smoke in the room. They are giving it like a package. So the food is included. That is 3 times a day. So basically they are placed a tray outside your room and they place the food there and you can have it whenever you like. They will provide you with the welcome letter, and in that welcome letter you have a QR code and you have to scan that QR code and then you can get the menu of the hotel and you can order the food. And that option is also there if you like to have something extra during the day or something like that, and you can opt for payment like a Google Pay or a debit card or credit card, whatever it may be. Few good things and there are few bad things also which I felt. So I think it's worth mentioning all these points. Let's get into that. So the good things worth mentioning is that the room was really spacious and it had an attached bathroom with tub and hot water all the time. Other facilities which includes a hair dryer, a safe, an iron box and a table, a kit. There was a seat with a good cushion, table and an office chair. The one thing worth mentioning in that one was the bed. The bed was very comfortable. At the end of the day, you need to have a good sleep. The bed was really comfortable. They do provide free Wi-Fi and have decent speed, and you can stream Netflix or YouTube or whatever you like. And the room had huge windows, so it was a big relief to at least to watch outside, you know. And I made some little time-lapse videos during the time, which I had put on my Facebook page. If you like, you can just have a look on that. The other thing worth mentioning is that there is a COVID test which being conducted on the 3rd day. It's just like they will call you to the corridor. Clinic guys with all the safety gears were already present when we are there. You have to call to one particular number, and that number need to be called like 4 or 5 times to get registered. So basically you call that number, your number get registered. Once the number get registered, you can show them your Arogya Setu app. They will check your ID and your boarding pass and which flight you came and from where you are actually flying and things like that. And after these documentation, they will take your throat swab. Throat swab basically is nothing. It's like a long like an earbud, and you are asked to open your mouth and they take the swab from your throat. It's not painful or anything. It's very irritating when they put that into your throat, you know. Regarding the payment, to cash or card, or they even accept the Google Pay, it was around almost close to 3,000. If there is any elders along with you, then elderly person are given a priority. One important thing is that always carry a small sanitizer in your hand. So you carry a mask along with sanitizer, so you can sanitize your hand whenever you touch something. So the result came on the 5th day, but actually there is no point in staying that if your result is negative. But unfortunately they won't give your result to you. They will give the result to your reception, and they will hand it to you only at the time of checkout. So basically, even if you are tested negative, you are not allowed to go until the 7 days is complete. I know that is ridiculous, but that is what they are following. The 5th day the result will be coming, as I mentioned, and if you are curious to know, you can always call the reception and ask, let you know the result, so you have at least a peace of mind. My flight was on the 8th day because I didn't get a direct flight to Cochin. I would suggest to get a direct flight rather than traveling to connection flight, because it's less exposure, you know, the travel time can be reduced in such a way. So I opted for the next day flight, which I got an Indigo flight on the 8th. So what I did was I extended my stay 1 day extra. So you have to pay that extra amount on the checkout time. Whatever the 7 day charge plus that 1 day charge will be coming on the total amount. They will provide you with cab facilities. So if you want to drop to the airport, you better ask them on the previous day itself, so they can arrange a cab for you to drop you to the airport. So I opted for a airport drop, and they charged me around 570 rupees for that. Hotel to the airport, it's much safer. So since I have already mentioned good things about this hotel, I have some bad feelings about this, things which need to be improved, and things I find which was bad, even though we are paying like a huge amount of money for a day. First and foremost thing is that there is no service. That is understandable, but other than that, the linens were all had fungus. It's all were dirty. There were carpets were really dirty. It seems like they have not cleaned the room for a long time. Even if I asked them for a fresh linen, they provided me fresh linen, but I had to wait for another few hours, plus those were like damaged ones. Maybe it's just they wanted to give you because you're under quarantine and they don't want to spoil the good ones. I don't know. And as I mentioned, there is no service. They will provide you the things which you needed, and the sheets and the pillow covers or whatever it may be, and you have to change it by yourself. Even the laundry, there is an option that you can give your clothes for washing, but it will take 48 hours minimum. So I didn't bother to do that. Since I was coming from the ship, I already had enough clothes, and I just took it home and just washed it here. I don't know whether they are trying to take advantage of this COVID situation. All the things they place, especially the toiletries, were all cheap products, like they were Lifebuoy soap, 1 rupee Clinic Plus shampoo, and Vim bar and things like that. This is not what we expect when you stay at a 4-star hotel or a 5-star hotel. You expect something decent, but which was not there. And same goes with the food. The food was really pathetic first 3 days. Then I had to complain about the quality of the food, and then the 5th day, on the 6th day, it was pretty decent. But even though they are only providing you vegetarian food, and if you want to get any other non-vegetarian food, then you have to order from the a la carte. The a la carte is very expensive. It's not worth the money you spend. The quantity and the quality is not good, and it's not value for money. And one more thing, the food timing. The food timing was really bad, because they were the first and the second day we had to wait for breakfast, to get breakfast until 10 o'clock. I brought the lunch at 2:30, and one day they did not even bother to keep food for me. Then I have to call them, and then they provide food after that. It's not organized, and I don't know, maybe they are afraid whether you have COVID or something like that. But yeah, I thought that's worth mentioning. Enough with the complaints, but I thought nevertheless this is the things which need to be addressed, so that you can have a better idea of what you are going to face. So everything is fine for you, and you are getting a flight on the same day of your checkout, then you can check out basically on the 7th day, and during the time of checkout they will provide you with a quarantine certificate. Then they will give you the COVID test result as well. So these two things you can carry with you, and you can provide at the airport if somebody asks you. For me, nobody asked for a proof or anything like that. Make sure that you check out a bit early so that you can reach the airport in time. Once I reach the airport, as usual, they checking your Arogya Setu app, and if you are in the red zone, you are not allowed to travel. Everyone has to do the web check-in. That is the rule right now. The guys are there at the entrance to the airport, and they will help you out in web check-in and things like that. So that's not an issue. And one good thing is that the ID verification was contactless. So there were glass windows made around the security guards, and they are checking your IDs and everything before you enter the airport. And once you enter the airport, then you go to the baggage counter, and before that you can get the boarding pass from the machine. You have to get it by yourself, and the airline staff will help you out in getting the things. And the same goes with the baggage. When you drop the baggage on check-in counter, you have to take and keep your baggage by yourself. They're not going to touch your luggages or anything like that. So once you get the boarding pass and everything is set, and then you go to the security check. And the one thing which you should keep in mind is that especially in Mumbai, they are not cleaning the trays, especially they are not sanitizing the trays. So obviously you are taking out all the electronic, especially your laptop or any Bluetooth speaker or headphones and things like that. Once the scanning is done, it's always better to sanitize all the things before you put inside the bag. So that's one good tip you have to keep in mind. The mask is mandatory, so you definitely have to wear the mask every time. One thing to keep in mind is there was no restaurants open. It is worth mentioning here because it is a good thing that you have something or a plan ahead to get some food. Also, they won't provide you anything on the airline as well. Before you enter into the flight, they will provide you with a PPE kit, which include a face shield, some sanitizers and face mask. And if you are sitting in the middle seat, they will provide you with an extra gown. The social distancing thing is not being able to follow. The flight was almost full, so that is what they are trying to do. They give you the gown and you can wear that, and once you are out of the plane, then you can discard that into the allocated separate bin, which is kept almost every airport now. Once I reached the Cochin airport, I found that the airport was very clean. The staff was all wearing the PPE. And actually that was a big relief for me, because I've been waiting to reach home since long time now, and yeah, that was a good feeling. Once you get the bags, then you go to the exit point where they check your temperature, which is with a contactless thermometer which is already placed, and you just have to stand in front of that and they will check the temperature. Then you have to show Setu app to the staff there, and they will verify ID and the Arogya Setu app, and they will mark entry in the register and they'll let you go. If you want to take a cab, there is a prepaid service which I opted for. All you have to do is pay there and tell your final destination, and they will tell you the counter and the pillar number basically. So you go to the pillar number and get the cab. And in the cab also the same thing, the social distancing means has been followed. There was a plastic put in between as a separation from the front and the back rows of the seats, and the baggage is being handled by myself. So that is what they have been following. I would highly recommend you to inform your nearest police station and health department, so you don't have to face any problems from the public. People are really in panic here, so just to avoid all these things, inform them in advance. So home quarantine is strictly followed in Kerala. So if you are coming back to Kerala, then you have to undergo 28 days home quarantine. No kids and elderly people above the age of 60 is not allowed to stay with you. So if you have any kids or your parents which are older, then you have to either opt for a hotel quarantine or anywhere else. As far as my knowledge, there are hotels providing quarantine facility even in Cochin, so you can check that in internet or even check that in the airport. That's it for the video, guys. I hope this video was helpful, at least for some of you. Most importantly, travel safe and be safe, and I hope you get a chance to meet your loved ones as soon as possible, and let's break the chain and overcome this pandemic together. Have a good day and see you guys on the next one. Peace.